Hi there, welcome back to another Crypto Dave video. So today I'm doing a Syndicate review and roundup. Now this is part two of a two-part series here. I did a video about 6 weeks ago once I'd done 6 of these events, these Syndicate events, and I went through the kind of like the figures and we worked out whether it was kind of like worthwhile doing it. I showed you how much money I'd made. Now I said at the time I was going to continue to do these until the 6th month staking lockup was finished. Now, there have been a few changes since then. So firstly, the syndicate frequency is now weekly, but secondly and more importantly, they've added an additional requirement, which is a $5,000 30-day trading volume to participate as well. So I've done the first 6. I'm at the end of that 30-day trading volume where I've hit that kind of volume, so I won't be doing any in the future. But I just want to show you how the next 6 have gone compared to the first 6, and then we can look at the overall performance over the last sort of 3, 4, 5 months, whatever it's been. So for those of you who don't know what the Syndicate is, basically it's something run by crypto.com where every week you can purchase some cryptocurrency at 50% off. They choose a coin or a token each week. It's normally something that's fairly kind of popular, a reasonably high cap coin. We'll have a look at the coins they've done recently in a minute or two. But in order to participate in this, you need to have a minimum amount of CRO locked up on their exchange. Now, when I started, it was 10,000 minimum. That's now dropped to 5,000 because the price of CRO has increased. So the minimum amount now is 5,000. You have to have 5,000 CRO. That you have to put that on the exchange. That's locked for 6 months, and then you need additional CRO, which you have to use as collateral to actually purchase these additional cryptos. And now, just to give you some background, I bought 20,000 CRO on the 27th of May. It was 8 cents basically back then, which cost me $1,600. I locked up 10,000 on the exchange for 6 months, and I've used the other 10,000 to participate in these events. So basically you have to put collateral in CRO into each of these events. And what I've done is I've moved it into the event. When each event finishes, I then move it back into the crypto.com app, and I put it in a flexible earn term, and then it earns a little bit of interest in between these events. And then when the next event, the next Syndicate event comes, I move it back over to the exchange, participate in the event, and then move it back over again. I've kept some of the coins and I've sold others. The Syndicate frequency, as I mentioned, has increased to every week. When I first started, it was every 2 weeks, and they've added this minimum trading volume requirement. So the 12th Syndicate event that I participated in finished this morning, 10th of September. So let's have a look at each of the events and how we've performed over the last few months. So those of you who saw the last video, and it will be linked below, these are the figures from the first 6 events. So Cardano Engine, Bitcoin, Algorand, Kyber Network, and Neo, and all the events were $500,000 worth of crypto available, apart from the Bitcoin event, which was a anniversary event, which was $2 million worth of Bitcoin. And then you can see here, this is the amount of CRO we staked on the exchange, the amount we were allowed to allocate to each event. So as you can see right at the beginning, we were able to allocate 10,000 for staking 10,000, and as the price of CRO has dropped, that has decreased over time. So you can see the second event 9,000, then a few at 8,000, then we were down to 7,000 by the end of that. Is 6 events, and that's basically to try and bring in line the amount you can allocate to around $1,000. So if you stake 10,000 CRO, you get around $1,000 worth of allocation that you can apply for. And then we've got the amount of coins we received, the CRO we used for each of these. So you can see this was dropping down over time, and then our percentage allocated. So this was dropping down over time as well. So as the events became, sorry, just jumped onto the wrong slide. As the events became more popular, the amount of coins that we allocated decreased. So we started at 1.75. This is an anomaly because there was $2 million of allocation rather than $500,000, but we dropped down to 1.71, 1.54, and then down to 1.5. And then the next table is the last 6. So you can see we dropped down to 1.46. This was Diet, then we went to Pax Gold, BAT, Comp, OMG, and then BTC. And again, this was this last one, which finished this morning, was a special event that was $2 million worth of allocation as opposed to $500,000 for all the rest. And this was to celebrate the launch of the exchange coming out of beta. But we dropped down in the percentage allocation. Then we had a jump up, and this was when they added the additional requirement for the trading volume. So I think a lot of smaller holders were put off. They weren't trading on the exchange. and therefore weren't eligible to participate. So we had an increase, but that's continued to drop just like it did before, and we're now back to 1.73, which was the last one we had before this special event. So we got more allocation because there was more available, but we're down to 1.73, which was basically where we started back here, 1.75 with Cardano. So over the next few weeks, I anticipate this continuing to drop down when they're doing the regular 500,000 events. Probably over the next sort of 4 to 6 weeks, we'll drop down under 1.5% again. So this is the amount of CRO used for each of these purchases, and then the refunded CRO, and again the amount of coins we received each of these individually. And then to look at the overall figures, so over the period, which is about 4 or 5 months now, our 20,000 CRO has almost doubled in price now. It's currently worth $0.151, and it was $0.08 when we started. So the total amount would be worth $3,020 today from our $1,600. So if we just bought CRO, if we didn't do anything with it, we didn't stake it or hold it on the exchange or anything, we'd have made a decent kind of profit from that. Regardless, we'd have made like $1,400 just from holding CRO because of the price increase. Now it must be said, the actual price of CRO 6 weeks ago when I did the initial video was actually higher than it is today. We're up at just over 16 cents, 0.16 something, I forget exactly what it was, but it has dropped down a little bit over the last few weeks. It went slightly higher a couple of weeks after the previous kind of video, and then obviously it's kind of like leveled off a little bit, and then everything's taken a little bit of a hit in the last week, so that's why it's down a little bit. But we were seeing all-time highs up around the sort of $17, $18 cents rather, before it dropped down. But the massive gains we received in the months preceding that seem to have gone now. I imagine there'll be a slow, steady increase in the price of CRO along with other kind of cryptos, but I think the really big jumps that we were fortunate enough to kind of like see since the end of kind of May have probably gone now. Now, oops, sorry. So in addition to our 20,000, we've earned some more CRO through staking and interest, 797 of those, and we spent 2,166 CRO on these kind of coins for the allocation in the Syndicate event. So that's left us with a total of 18,630 coins. And then we managed to purchase this amount of all these additional kind of coins. So I've put the dollar amount, and this is the dollar value of these coins at the close of the day when we actually purchased them. So these are sort of tied into what we made then. They're not today's prices. So you can see normally somewhere between sort of $35 and $40 we made on average. You can see here Cardano Engine 34, 36. The BTC ones are obviously a lot higher because we had a higher allocation, $2 million worth, so we can actually get a larger allocation of those. We've had one or two good ones. So Algo $47, Pax Gold $44, BAT just over $40, and then one or two poor ones. So we've hit OMG here just under $26 worth, and this is basically because the price of these coins has fluctuated between the price being kind of locked in on the first day of the Syndicate event and the price then on the last day of the event. So for example, OMG had a massive spike up in price just before the Syndicate event, so we were buying crypto.com were buying them at quite a high price, and then that had dropped down a fair amount by the end of the Syndicate event. In total, we made $619.77 worth of crypto, so that's what that was worth. Which gives us a grand total of basically today's price. This is our CRO that we have left, $2,813.21 plus this. Gives us this $34.32.98 minus the initial purchase cost of the CRO, which was $1,600. Gives us a profit over the entire experiment of $1,800.32. But as I mentioned before, if we just held CRO by itself, we didn't stake or anything like that, we'd have made $1,400. So going through this whole process of moving coins in and out, participating in the Syndicate event, and then more recently having to get that kind of trade volume up to $5,000 on the crypto.com exchange. For all that kind of effort, we've made an additional $400. So A few people have asked me whether they think it's worth participating in the syndicate events. Now, I would say unless you want to hold CRO for some other reason, unless you think the price is going to go up a huge amount on CRO, you're really interested in the kind of ecosystem, you want to buy in to the ecosystem with the cards and stuff like that, I'd say it probably wasn't worth it. If you're just buying to participate in the syndicate events, I personally wouldn't bother. It's not financial advice. I personally wouldn't bother doing it now. I think the percentage allocated is so low now to step through all these kind of hoops every week in order to get sort of like, you know, what's now under 2%, and it's probably going to go under 1.5% fairly soon, of that allocation just isn't worth it. The only I suppose kind of caveats is if you are a bit of a whale, if you're looking to, you know, put 1 million CRO in and get like a really nice big chunk of these kind of allocations each week, it might be worth doing. For the average person who's going to put in 5,000 or 10,000 CRO and lock that up, probably not worth it. As I said, you know, you're getting about $35 worth of crypto with 10,000 locked up. So if you were locking up the minimum now, you'd be getting about $16 of each crypto, of which only half of that is profit. So you'd be making about $8 worth of crypto. And then if you want to move that back into something, if you want to remove it or withdraw it from the exchange, some of the transfer fees at the moment, particularly with Ethereum tokens, are really kind of like large. So effectively it's just not worth your while doing it. It's been an interesting experiment. I'm glad I did it. I was quite lucky just with the price increase in CRO, but I'm not going to be participating in any more. I think I've just managed to get today's syndicate event in before my 30-day of trading volume has disappeared from the exchange, so I won't be eligible without doing a lot more trading, which I'm not prepared to do really on the exchange. So just looking forward to a few months time when I get my CRO unlocked. The additional CRO is going to be sat in the app for now, and if we have a spike up in price one day, I'll keep an eye on that. I will be selling that, and then with the other 10,000 that's on the exchange, or just over 10,000 on the exchange, I'll look to do something with that at the end of the year when the 6 months is up. So I think it's towards the end of the year when that gets unlocked, and I'll either move some over to a card, stake it for a card, I think possibly unlikely, or I'll look to maybe kind of sell it on a boost up in price. But that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching as always. If you give me a thumbs up, that would be fantastic. It really helps other people find the content. Consider subscribing if you haven't. I do lots of crypto content, particularly related to passive income, crypto interest accounts and stuff like that. Thanks very much for watching. As I said, I hope you're all keeping safe and well. Have a great day. Hopefully I'll see you on the next video, but until then, bye bye.